Okay, now can we move on to Dr. Lilian? Okay, so I think tell us about your involvement in the early days of Chinese Gospel Church and your memories.
Well, actually, after I graduated from Riverdale Collegiate, I went to U of T to do my science degree. And I belong to the Varsity Christian Fellowship there. One of the person in the group, they said, well, you know what? There is a Chinese Bible study at U of T started by some engineers. And so why don't you go and join them? I was a little bit apprehensive because I don't speak a lot of Chinese and everything. So I went, and it was a Bible study started from Wing Mac. He was an engineer, aerophysics engineer, and he and Basil Leung from another
Ottawa.
yeah, and so I was the only girl, and they had Bible studies. And they knew that I don't know a lot of Chinese and everything else. They were very accommodating. And I tried to, acculturate myself into that group. And so every Friday we had Bible study. And I respected, the leaders like Wing Mac, and I just kind of learned from them. And once in a while he'll say, I know there's a brother who loves the Lord and who's studying at TBS, Toronto Bible School, and he's going to come and lead the Bible study next week. So that's fine. So every time when he came and he gave, the Bible study, and everybody. Yeah. I said, who is this guy? Everybody, like you guys are good. Why was he so special? So next time I knew when he's coming. So I knew the Bible segment that he is going to be leading. So I found some hard questions.
Just stupid questions.
He said stupid questions. So that's how I met him.
Okay.
And of course, afterwards, I took on a teaching high school in Ottawa. At Hillcrest, and that's my first time away from home, from Toronto, and I was teaching. And that was before then. I'm trying to get the timing right. And after I met you called me or you emailed, no.
I used to help
to
play piano.
ask me if I would play the piano for him at Redeemers, the Church of Redeemers, at the corner of Bloor and Avenue Road. And I said, sure. So I went in the basement and in the places, and so it was good. I get to know him. But then after I got my first job, first time away from home to Ottawa, and I received monthly
pass letter.
Newsletter about the church. And then later on, I found that he was writing me more often. And he was writing and explaining and talking to me about what's happening at the church.
For example, when no money to pay the bill for like winter time, with no money to pay the gas, and we're all like, oh no, she was sending a check to help.
Oh, okay. You were a faithful supporter.
So, kind of just needs, right?
Okay.
And that's how we started a relationship. Yeah.
So you were attending when they were Redeemer, and when they were at 450 Dundas, you were still there until you went to
I
Ottawa?
was in Ottawa. I was in Ottawa. But every time when I came back from Ottawa, and I would attend the church. And so I get to know Dong Tong very well. I know Hannah very well, Alverna, Betty, Alverna's sister, daughter. And of course, Steve and Edith's nights were always good friends. And of course my sister, Susan and Jeffrey and Eunice and Simon. So it is a home. It is a home.
Okay, so I think you were with the Chinese Gospel Church for a very limited time because you were in Ottawa and that. But your sisters And the
Yes.
husbands and the families, okay, play very important roles in Chinese Gospel Church. So can you tell us about that?
I remember.
Well, I try to remember.
You help her remember.
Eunice was a singer,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she does a lot of solo and
Jeffrey is the first one who started the Asian culture. They are the first.
The church plant, yeah.
So
Scarborough Gospel Church.
Yeah. So he's the first one who, the first sister daughter church. Jeffrey and some other people, about 30 of them. So this is a nice part about Gospel Church that when a certain number was, we
Church
spread,
plant.
we moved to sign up, but then getting bigger, right? So Jeffrey is the first one, and this is the second one.
I think after I have been,
But you don't know about it.
yeah, so this is kind of timeline.
But you have to explain how you are related to Jeffrey.
When I went to the Bible study at UT, and I think Jeffrey was part of came from McGill. And so we seem to have drawn a lot of people from different areas. And when they come to Bible study, so that's how we get to know them. And also we are related to the Chinese Gospel Church.
Jeff later on, the whole Bible study group trying to help me with the Gospel Church. They come here, clean the church.
Yeah.
So later on we say, why two Bible study? Why two church? All one kind. So the Toronto Bible study group disappeared. They're all part of the Gospel Church. So that's why I say the Bible study group is a big part of the Gospel Church.
Yeah. And then Steve Chu, Jim.
That's the teenagers.
Yeah, they were playing marbles on Baldwin Street. Paul will recruit them. So they're very, very.
I recruit many young people.
Yeah.
About 20 of them.
And we are still friends.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are still serving the Lord. It's wonderful. I mean, I just cannot thank God enough that even though my culture is a little different from the normal Chinese
I
culture.
call her barbarian.
He called me barbarian. I
She
mean,
said, anything about Chinese history, Chinese philosophy. Then her right Chinese is barbarian.
no, I do know some Chinese words, but I mean, because both my parents were born in Toronto.
Sound fine, sound
Okay,
fine.
my grandparents came here in 1896.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, this is why. But I am a Chinese, and I'm, but my father, he doesn't know a lot of Chinese. So we were raised very
pretend
differently.
Chinese. She pretend Chinese.
No, you ask
Dr.
Susan.
Paul, all our children are like that, okay?
Look
Pretend
at
Chinese.
Susan married Jeffrey
Yes.
after our wedding. They dated after our
yeah,
wedding.
So that's the relationship.
Yeah.
So Susan, her sister, and then she married Jeffrey Zhang. And Jeffrey Zhang was a leader downtown church. Like I remember him chairing the board, being an elder, and interpreting during Sunday worship. And as you said, he was part of the team that planted Scarborough Gospel Church with Chadwin Mack and that big group. Okay, yeah. Tell us about Eunice and Simon, how they're related to you and their role in Chinese Gospel Church.
And Eunice, my sister,
Okay.
and she's a singer, and she loves to do a lot of things. And Simon, I don't know how Simon got to your church. He's an architect.
No. Simon come to church, like when other students come to church. We have students from all over, where they are. Simon graduated from Saskatchewan, but when they moved to Toronto to get a job, so other graduates from architect. They Toronto to get a job as architect. So Dennis Mack, like they're all.
That's right, Dennis Mack.
We have many
yeah.
students. Yeah.
And Wayne Mack.
We're in downtown Toronto, right? I mean, so Simon came to our church after her graduation, after his graduation.
And he was attracted to Eunice, and Eunice was attracted to him. so they got married. And Simon was the one who renovated the Jewish synagogue into a proper church. And then later on, the church was a little too small, so he had to extend from the front, from the back to the front.
And also add
the extra.
See, before Simon went away, you know who cleaned up the basement of the church? Young people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we work every weekend, clean up and transform that into a club, young people's club. That CGYG began with
That's right.
in the basement. We work very hard to clean up all the rocks and dirt, so it's good for them. You see, they feel belonging. They feel that that's how they have bonding.
Yes.
So we work together, clean up all the mess.
Yes.
I was part of the team.
So Hoyson Wong, the chairman of our board, has good memories of digging the dirt from the basement. He shares with me.
Yeah,